The waiver wire has been very interesting these last few weeks, and now we got a heavy hitter to look at from last year's draft class who's starting to emerge, and that's Sean Tucker of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the third-string running back who is working himself into being in the three-headed monster of the Buccaneers backfield, and we got to analyze him. We got to do a deep dive on him right now to see whether or not you need him for fantasy football. There's a lot of strategy baked into this guy, and we have to play our cards right. But before we dig in, you need to click that subscribe button right now. We're doing as many deep dives as possible on these players so you can get the advanced analytics. You can look at the situation on these players so you can make the sound decisions for your team. We're going deep on the waiver wire every day. We're using these videos to help you set your lineups. We're recapping games and everything else. Click that button. Stop missing out. Ric Flair's watching. Do not disappoint him. But we're going to start things off with Todd Bowles. He's going to talk about Sean Tucker and his performance.
Todd, can you speak to the game that Sean Tucker had? I mean, it's one thing to come in, as your third running back on your depth chart. He was elevated to number 2 yesterday with White being out, and give you some meaningful snaps. But, I mean, he exploded onto the scene, 7 explosive plays. Is that worthy of him making this kind of a three-headed monster at running back for you guys now?
It's definitely worthy of him making this a three-headed monster. He took advantage of his opportunities. He ran away from some tackles, some linebackers. He ran through the hole. He cut back. He made some great plays. He caught the ball well out of the backfield. So that gives us three-headed monsters.
Sean Tucker earned it. Looks like he's going to get some opportunity. Todd Bowles, compared to a lot of other coaches in the National Football League, one of the most blunt coaches when it comes to coach speak on the microphone in these press conferences. The odds are saying, hey, he's going to get more work. Is it going to be straight down the middle between the three? Probably not, but he's probably going to get eased in there. And we're looking at Rachaad White. He was not efficient between the tackles, but Sean Tucker was very efficient on Sunday and very exhilarating. And if you compare these running backs, these three running backs and their collegiate profiles, Rachaad White's not really that much further removed than Sean Tucker. Sean Tucker might be the better one, and we're going to be looking at this going forward. But one thing I want to show you is the clips from Sunday, and we're going to be looking at all his carries at 10 yards or more, plus his catches from Sunday against the Saints. Here we go, finding the hole. Look at it, hard to bring down. Tough runner, good base, good frame. I have this zoomed in for a reason. Boom, find the hole, bam. Lateral footwork's great here. Strong, hard to go down, very compact. Look at him, working those leverages to get out into the outside. Smart runner, very cerebral. Boom, hits it to the outside, up top. There we go. There we go. Boom, cuts it up. You see him looking towards the outside and cuts it right back up. Here we go, working momentum, working momentum. Very sound runner right here. We're going to hit to the outside. Look at him, trying to work it. Good play by the defender, not getting twisted up there. Here we go, trickery. Back to Baker Mayfield, boom. Dart, Baker Mayfield, I had to throw that one hard to him. Straight to the outside. Slipping out there. Baker gets it to him with the hands upfield. Cutting it in. Look at us. Look at us go. End zone. Here we go on the next one. Play action. Slipping back out there again. Not going down. Not going down. He's a tough physical runner. He's got good vision. He's very patient. And that's what we saw yesterday. That got him 136 yards on the ground, 1 touchdown, 6 carries of over 15 miles per hour. This dude's got juice. He still has it. 3 catches, 56 yards, and a touchdown. He went off. And the Saints isn't a lousy defense either. He went off last week, going back to his high school days during the recruiting process. Not a highly sought-after recruit. And the reason why we're going this far back, we're peeling the onion, we're connecting the dots so you can get a good understanding of Sean Tucker. Some of you guys already know. 1,400 yards, almost 1,500 yards rushing during his sophomore season in 2021. Also had some breakout games during his freshman season as well. 12 touchdowns that year. We had a little bit of a dip in 2022. But this team in 2022 for Syracuse was a little bit more pass heavy, so they're running it a little bit less. On top of that, you start looking at the yards after contact. 2021, 4.11 yards after contact per attempt, over 1,000 yards after contact, 66 missed tackles forced, 2.76 yards after contact per attempt in 2022, 3.51 on his career. And in the receiving game, his targets went up in 2022. Routes went up a good bit on 2022 as well, with 297 routes versus 204. And looking at the yards after the catch per reception, 13.3 in 2021, 16.1 yards after the catch per reception in 2020, and his ADOT was pretty high in 2022. That means he was getting more targets downfield. Usually running backs are getting their targets right around the line of scrimmage or behind it. Think about how running backs get targeted in the flow of games. He was getting more targets downfield in 2022, so less likely to get you those yards after the catch per reception. But that 16.1 and 13.3 is a very good indicator that this guy's got speed to burn. He's very good in the open field. So carrying the ball, getting the ball out in the flat, he can make you miss. He can get you yards after contact. He'll take advantage of any creases, any space. That's what that number says, more than just getting yards after the catch, because you got to do some things to get those yards after the catch. And this guy was productive. All of his games of 80 yards or more, and we got 20 of them. Sometimes we do this on a running back, and it's only this big. This dude was rolling. Doesn't matter if it was against a scrub team, a Power 5 team, a top-tier Power 5 team. He was rolling, whether it was Notre Dame or Wagner, Clemson or Wagner. He was balling out in college. One of the top running backs in college football, and he also ran track a little bit because he's got speed to burn. He's explosive. He can make it happen. The track team said, "Hey, Sean Tucker, come over this way. Come help us out a little bit." And he was like, "All right, let's do this." But bad things happened during the NFL Combine. He was unable to compete at the NFL Combine due to a heart condition. Runs on his own, 4.33 40-yard dash times. I got it on my channel. I got it here. Just search for it if you want to see that. It's probably not exactly 4.33. Usually, these timed runs are usually not exact. However, still can cook on the field. We saw that on Sunday. You'll see that on the tape. You'll know what I'm talking about when you look at that. But we go undrafted. You're not going to draft a running back with a heart condition. You're not going to pay up or pony up for that because you do not know what you're going to get out of that player. And then on top of that, this draft class in 2023 was stacked at running back. It had like 20 running backs that had like third round grades, and a lot of them fell. And a lot of running backs went to 5th, 6th round undrafted that were good. There are way more competent running backs than compared to the 2024 NFL draft class. This draft class was stacked with talent, and there's only so much demand for this supply. So a lot of these running backs fell, and if you got a heart condition in a draft class that's stuffed to the gills with talent, you're going to fall. He went undrafted, and he went undrafted due to the heart defect he had, and it was shocking to him. It stunned him, stunned these coaches, stunned these teams, and it caused him to fall in the draft. But he was able to come back to practice July 27th, late July. And when he debuted, I did a video on it. I did a lot of videos on Sean Tucker. I know about Sean Tucker. I've been talking about him for years. I've been talking about him when he was at Syracuse, when we would talk more about college ball. But Sean Tucker debuted in late July. Now that I think about it, it all comes together. Of course, you're going to have a slower rookie season if the start of your career, rookie camp, mini camp, OTAs, coming in late July. Usually, camp, you got some time to pick it up back then, but still, you're entering in the thick of things. So it's got to take some time for you to ramp up. Of course, you're going to have a slower rookie year. Of course, things are not going to work out the same. That makes sense. We see a lot of these rookies get injured during training camp. Think about Jackson Smith-Njigba. Slow start last year, middle of the year, started to get more opportunities middle of the season, but really did not ramp up until this year when it comes to production. But we saw 600 yards, 60 balls caught, and he ended training camp with a hand injury, started season off slow. Think about Sean Tucker. He started off his NFL career thinking he could potentially die, comes back in July, good to go, testing everything out, we're running and everything, and he's got to learn the playbook, he's got to learn the system. Of course, you're going to start off your rookie season slow. And you got Rachaad White playing above expectations, looking good, taking all the carries and the touches and the Canales offense. Now things are different. You want to split up your running backs. They draft Bucky Irving in the 3rd round. Of course, they're going to draft Bucky Irving in the 3rd round. You got a running back there with a heart condition that didn't do anything during their rookie season. You got Rachaad White getting all the workload. You need another running back. Of course, they're going to do that. And you're looking at this from the outside looking in. You're thinking, hey, why would we want to pay attention to Sean Tucker? It all makes sense when you connect the dots. And he was not productive until Sunday, week 6 of this year. 5.3 PPR fantasy points per game, technically, but 34.2 PPR fantasy points last week. The RB1, the top tier running back, Sean Tucker getting it done. And when it comes to snaps, Bucky Irving out-snapped him. 37.7% snap share for Sean Tucker. And then when it comes to rushing attempts, dead nuts even. Sean Tucker just went off. A lot of it was his moment. A lot of it was the blocking. But he took advantage of his opportunities. He is a very good running back. He is a very good prospect. He's got the athleticism. He's got the size. He's got the vision. He's got the patience. And when you look at them in the passing game, Bucky Irving got more routes ran, 27 versus his 12, a 65.9% route participation rate for Bucky Irving, 29.3 for Sean Tucker. That being said, Sean Tucker got less work in the passing game, but that makes sense. Bucky Irving in college was split out in the slot a lot, was getting a lot of work in the passing game. Sean Tucker experienced a ramp up. He's good out in the open field and in space, but he's good between the tackles. He's good creating leverages in the open field. That's his game. Bucky's good at that. But now you got a good tandem or threesome between these running backs, and you're looking at Rachaad White. Look at Rachaad White's 187 yards in 5 games versus Sean Tucker's 143 yards on 16 carries. Look at that. Rachaad White has not been efficient this year. 3.7 yards per carry. He's getting a lot of work. He's electric in space. He's good in the passing game. Both him and Bucky Irving. Sean Tucker's a different animal between the tackles. He's got a little bit more thump. He's got good vision. He's got good wiggle to him. Bucky Irving's good. No discount to anything that he does on the field. No discount. I like Bucky Irving. I'm a Bucky Irving fan. I'm a Sean Tucker fan. Those are two very good running backs. Those two could make a damn good tandem going forward for the long haul. Rachaad White's good in the passing game, but he's got to kick it into gear. He's got to get healthy, and he's got to run a lot better. Or Sean Tucker might be stealing a lot of that work. And when they mean three-headed monster, really think about this. Sean Tucker getting work up the gut, Bucky Irving getting work up the gut. They like to have two running backs on the field a lot. You're going to see these running backs get opportunities. So for fantasy, it's rough. It's rough for all these running backs. Sean Tucker just put a knife in both these two running backs' backs right now. That's what he's doing. Right in the back, he just did that. And himself, but he didn't have value prior to this week anyways. But again, someone's going to really emerge, especially if there's an injury. Sean Tucker, going forward, is a running back to look at. Is a running back to stash just in case things break his way even more. Because that could happen. This is a running back with top-tier upside. We thought there was potential he could be a first-round draft pick or even a second-round draft pick when it comes draft time. When it comes draft time, though, he had a heart condition, fell out of the draft. Now he's looking good. Took some time, but now he's looking good. And the dots connect here to why. It's connecting to why. And now he gets his opportunity and does well. And it all makes sense here. It all makes sense. And you're looking at the opportunity shares here. Things are dead nuts with the rushing attempts almost with Rachaad White and Bucky Irving. They want to use two running backs. They want to split things up. They want the running backs fresh. I would not be surprised they try to split that up 3 ways. I would not be surprised. Snaps, targets, attempts, I would not be surprised. 26% opportunity share versus 20%. I would not be surprised at all if that happens. You don't want him because you want to see more out of Sean Tucker. You want to see him get more carries. You want to see him on the field. You want to see how the touches are shared, divvied up among them. That makes sense because Rachaad White is coming back. You love the talent. You're a Sean Tucker fan. You saw him at Syracuse. You've been waiting, and you were hoping he'd come back. You love a good underdog story. He is a very good talent. He's a top-tier talent coming out for the draft. that just fell, and he did not fall because he sucks. That's the thing about this. And you're saying to yourself, well, this is a handcuff. This is a lottery ticket on my roster that has already proven to hit 30-plus fantasy points, that looks it on the field, that plays the part and has the upside. And you're like, I might as well do this. And you know what? Either decision here, I understand. But hopefully, I dropped enough details for you so you can make your sound decision. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Make sure to hit that subscribe button on the way out. One thing for watching. Catch you on the next video.